Well, hello to L, and you are in for a treat today because we're going to be solving some problems with percent. So our learning goal today says I can calculate the percentage of a number and use it to solve problems. So we're going to calculate problems with percent, and so here we're going to start with finding a percentage, like figuring out what percent of something. So example 1 says, out of 21 school days in September, Johnny was absent 6 times. What percent of the time was he present? Okay, now that's in bold for a reason because we're not going to use this 6 because we want the percent of time he was present. So we need the number of times he was present. So if he was absent, or if he was there for, or sorry, if there were 21 school days and he wasn't there for 6 of them, we need to do 21 take away 6 to find out how many times he was there, which is 15. So this says write a fraction using the information. So we want the number of times he was present in this case, so 15. And the bottom is always the total when we write a fraction. The top is the thing we're looking for, and the bottom is the total. So the total number of days was 21. So 15 divided by 21. Now we're going to turn this into a percent in 2 different ways. Okay, the first way we're going to solve a proportion. So we're going to take that 15 out of 21 and we're going to turn it into something over 100. So we got to figure out what this something here is. We're going to let x stick there. Well, this is just cross multiplication. You know this. We're going to times these two things and divide by this one. I'm going to grab my highlighter here. Remember, we times by those two things and divide by this one. So here's what we write down. X equals 100 times 15 divided by 21. And you can just type that all into your calculator. 100 times 15 is just going to be 1500 divided by 21. And that says 71.4. We're just going to round that down to the 71. And that actually means, since it's 71 out of 100, then that means 71% of the time he was there. Whoops, that doesn't say time. 71% of the time he was present. Now I'm going to show you a separate way to calculate it, and this is the way that most people would calculate it. But since we were talking about talking about percentages being over 100, I wanted to show you this way. Usually what they're going to do is take that percentage, 15 over 21, or take that fraction, and turn it into a decimal. So you turned into a decimal just by dividing it. So we'll go 15 divided by 21, and that's 0.71. So 0.71. And then we have to multiply it by 100%. So we're going to times that by 100%, which is basically just timesing it by 1, because 100% is 1, and that means it's 71%. So a lot of times people turn it into a decimal and then multiply by 100%, which turns it into a percentage. Okay. Now we're going to use that, finding the percent of a number, and we're going to do this in 2 different ways as well. So let's take a look at example number 2. It says Carol was absent for 24% of the school year. If there are 190 school days in a year, how many days was she absent? Okay, so this time we're good. We've got the percentage for her being absent, so that's what we're going to look at. The first thing we're going to do is change that 24% into a fraction. And you know what that means, 24 out of 100. And then we want to change that into, and remember this bottom is the total, and the total number of days was 190. So we're going to put the 190 on the bottom and then figure this out. Now this is cross multiplying again. We're going to multiply those two things and then divide by that one. So what we're going to write down is x equals 190 times 24 divided by 100. So let's pull that up. 24 times 190 divided by 100 means that we get 45.6. Now there is another way to do this, and this is by multiplying. And if we do it by multiplying, what we want to do is take that 24% first and turn it into a decimal, 0.24. And then once we've got that 0.24, we're going to multiply that 0.24 by the total number of days in the year. And that's going to tell us what 24%, this means 24%. This times sign, the word of means times, and this is the total. So if we're trying to find the 24% of the total, we just translated that into a math statement. And we're going to go 24, oops, not 24, 0.24 times 190. And we get 45.6. Notice, same answer both ways. Which way do I prefer? I don't really care. You can do it whichever way you find easier. What that actually means, though, remember what we were being asked to find? We want to know how many days was she absent. If she was absent for 24% of them, this is our answer. She missed, and since this is a word statement or word problem, we should conclude with a word problem. She missed 45.6 days. Does that make any sense? Probably not. She probably missed 46 days. So we're going to round that up. I'm going to take my eraser and we're going to round that up to 46 days. She might have missed a half day here or there, but not 0.6 of a day. And that concludes this little video. You need to complete a worksheet.